smoky haze of the neon glow. Dreams take flight and the spirits flow. On every block ambition gleams. Hollywood's a city built on dreams.
It all began with a phone call. A voice so smooth, so persuasive, it was like a dream come true. Hollywood was calling. The opportunity of a lifetime. A private jet, A-list meetings, the kind of life most only dream of. But what if I told you that everything you thought was true was a lie? Har Gobind Tahil Ramani, an unknown name, a voice that would deceive hundreds. His scam wasn't about money though. It was about trust. It was about stealing dreams. And that's exactly what he did. But this story isn't just about him. It's about the real victims. The people who lost not just money, but their faith in the very dream they'd been chasing. Today, you'll hear their untold stories. Stories of hope, betrayal, and the battle to rebuild their lives. Stay with me, because this journey is one you won't forget.
Dreams take flight and the spirits flow. On every block ambition gleams. Hollywood's a city built on dreams.
Har Gobind Tahil Ramani wasn't just another scam artist. He was a master manipulator, someone who could slip into any persona with ease. The victims didn't see it coming. They believed in his voice, the voice of a producer, a casting director, someone who held the key to their success. From the outside, it seemed like a golden opportunity. Private jets, Hollywood meetings, promises of fame. But for over 50 victims, that dream turned into a nightmare that cost them far more than money. But this story isn't about Har Gobind. It's about the victims. The real toll of the scam wasn't just the stolen money. It was the broken trust, the lost dreams, and the emotional scars that they carry with them today.
Dreams take flight and the spirits flow. On every block ambition gleams. Hollywood's a city built on dreams.
Meet Kali Rudd, a passionate photographer who thought she had been given the chance of a lifetime. A call came in, promising the kind of Hollywood connection she had been working toward for years. A role in a Netflix series, a private jet, top-tier meetings. It sounded perfect. But as Kali arrived in Jakarta, nothing was as it seemed. The assistant, who was supposed to meet her, never showed. The meetings were delayed. The promises of the future were replaced by an overwhelming sense of confusion. Kali realized too late that the dream she had been chasing wasn't just out of reach. It was a lie. She was alone, stranded, and financially drained. The worst part wasn't just the money. It was the feeling of betrayal, the loss of something that had felt so real. Then there's Henry Wu, another victim who thought he was being handed his big break. A photographer with dreams of capturing the biggest stars, he received a call that seemed too good to be true. And in the world of Hollywood, sometimes too good to be true is exactly what it is. Henry spent thousands on fake promises, traveling to Jakarta, only to be met with empty meetings and the cold sting of no one showing up. The dream, which seemed so real, was gone in an instant. For Henry, The worst loss was not just money, but the trust he had in himself and in the industry he had worked so hard to be a part of. Zornitsa Shahanska, a talented photographer, also believed in the Hollywood dream. She was drawn in by the promises of big contracts, meetings with A-list producers, and a chance to finally break into the industry. But when the fees started piling up and the meetings continued to be delayed, doubt started to creep in. Zornitsa's story isn't just about losing money. It's about the emotional devastation of having something you worked your whole life for taken away. The scams had ruined her trust in everything she had worked for, and the pain of betrayal was unbearable. Megan Bourne, an actress with big dreams, also fell victim to Hargobine's scam. The call promised a major role in a new Netflix series, a high-budget production. It felt too good to be true, but like the others, Megan believed. When Megan arrived in Jakarta, she was met with silence. The dream she had worked for her whole life was now just a painful reminder of what she had lost. But what hurt even more was the betrayal by the very industry she had dedicated herself to. For Megan, the hardest part was finding the strength to get back up. She had to question who she was and whether the dream she had worked so hard for was ever real.
Dreams take flight and the spirits flow. On every block ambition gleams. Hollywood's a city built on dreams.
Hundreds of others, from photographers to makeup artists, writers and actors, all fell victim to Hargobine's elaborate con. He had perfected the art of deception, manipulating dreams, playing on hope, and using Hollywood's lure to reel them in. This wasn't a one-off scam. It was a well-crafted operation that targeted the most vulnerable, those desperate to break into Hollywood to make their dreams come true. Each victim was a part of a larger web, a trap so perfectly designed that no one saw the red flags. They were each left behind, stranded, their careers in shambles, their trust shattered, and their dreams forever altered. It wasn't just the few we've heard from. This was an epidemic of betrayal, one that affected so many aspiring professionals, those who will carry the scars of this scam for the rest of their lives.
Dreams take flight and the spirits flow. On every block ambition gleams. Hollywood's a city built on dreams.
As the victims started piecing together their stories, investigators launched their hunt for the mastermind. And when they uncovered the truth about Hargobind Tahil Ramani, no one could believe it. The scam wasn't just about money. It was about a manipulator who played on the dreams of so many talented, hopeful individuals. The investigation revealed that the person behind the scam was not who anyone expected. The voice they all trusted belonged to a 40-year-old man from Indonesia, someone with no ties to Hollywood, someone who had perfected the art of impersonation and psychological manipulation.
Dreams take flight and the spirits flow. On every block ambition gleams. Hollywood's a city built on dreams.
The consequences of the scam didn't stop when Hagebind was arrested. For the victims, the true cost was far deeper. It wasn't just about the financial loss. It was about the emotional toll that would take years to heal. For many, their careers were irreparably damaged. Some walked away from the industry completely, unable to trust the very dream they had worked so hard to achieve. Trust was something Hagebind had stolen from them, and that's something that can't be fixed easily.
Dreams take flight and the spirits flow. On every block ambition gleams. Hollywood's a city built on dreams.
But even in the face of betrayal, these victims found a way to rebuild. They didn't let this scam define them. Each one of them found the strength to start over, to trust again, and to chase new dreams, but this time on their own terms. Resilience is about getting back up after life knocks you down. These victims didn't just lose their money, they lost their belief in themselves. But they found a way back, and that's something worth celebrating. This story isn't just about a scam. It's about how we all rebuild after a betrayal, how we continue chasing our dreams, no matter how difficult the journey may seem. The road to recovery might be long, but it's worth it. If you've been moved by these stories, please share this video. Let's keep the conversation going. Like, comment, and subscribe. Together, we can remind the world that no one's dream is ever truly over.